talk. My next guests are Nora Miranda and LoriLyn Hicks, and I'm so excited to speak with these ladies because we have so many things we're going to get into that begins with the latest edition of Dalton Magazine. So welcome.
Thank you.
And the reason you guys jumped out at me, obviously, is I'm looking through it. I come across this article here by Nora Miranda, who happens to be a 10th grade student at Southeast High School. And the people around the studio know that I'm always just fascinated by young people who start writing early. And because I can so relate to you, and I think it's such a cool thing, and it was very well written.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, this obviously is it's called Inspired. So you have been inspired by LoriLyn Hicks here. What inspired you about her, and what made you decide that she is the person you want to write about?
Well, ever since we started this year, she's always been very positive despite having all the coronavirus stuff happening. And she's always been trying to motivate us and push us to do better and overcome things that we seem to think is impossible to overcome initially.
That's amazing. And that's a wonderful thing to inspire young people like you do.
Thank you.
So you teach math.
Yes, I do.
And I heard or I read here about Motivational Mondays.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
Motivational Mondays, we take a few minutes out of the beginning of each week to watch a video or hear a story about inspirational people. Sometimes it's inventors, young inventors, to give them the idea that they can do whatever it is that they want to do, to follow their passions. Sometimes it's people who have overcome major hardships to accomplish something great. Just to give the kids the sense that they're going to have adversity in their life. Mm-hmm. None of us are excluded from adversity, and it's how they handle that adversity and handle the perceived failures in their life to overcome them and shoot themselves forward. Mm-hmm. And that they're never alone.
And what inspires you?
My kids inspire me daily.
Mm-hmm.
They inspire me daily. I look forward every day to interacting with them and seeing them grow and seeing them choose who they are and what passions they want to follow. My husband is also a huge inspiration to me.
And that's Michael Hicks.
Michael Hicks, yes. He is just one of the most wonderful people I've ever met, and he follows his goals every day and inspires so many people. And someday when I grow up, I want to be just like him.
I have a feeling that you may already be.
Thank
right,
you.
Nora? So, Nora, you write about, tell us about the article. Tell me about the article and just how you decided to write about this and how you did it.
Well, the week before I decided to write the article, she had told us her story, well, part of her story revolving around her sister. And as soon as the opportunity came up to write something about someone who inspires me, the first thing I thought was what she had told us.
Mm-hmm. So, and then you created a story, you interviewed her. How did you approach her?
Well, I messaged her through Gmail, actually, because I was a bit too shy to go up to her and ask. But she was really open about it. She really wanted to share more about the story.
And how did you feel, LoriLyn, when you got the message?
I was really humbled. I was really humbled that Nora saw so much in the story that she would choose to write about it.
Do you care to share a bit of the story with us?
Sure. Back in 1988, when I was their age, my sister was murdered, and it had a huge impact on my life. My sister was involved in drugs, and that impacted me greatly as I was growing up living in that environment. Mm-hmm. And the ramifications of her anger. I was usually the target for that.
How old was she?
She was 3 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So she started getting into her addiction 8th, 9th grade. She started very young. Mm-hmm. And so my preteen and early teen years were dealing with that. Mm-hmm. The last time I was able to see my sister, I was very angry with her.
Sure.
And so when they were taking her to a halfway house to possibly be able to get some counseling and some help, My last words to her was that I was glad she was gone. And I held on to that regret for a very long time, that those were my final words to her. So one of the things of the story of telling the kids was that their words matter, and that to be very careful when they're angry, that they don't say something that they may not be able to take back. It's taken a lot of time and a lot of work. I've been able to forgive myself for what I said to her, and also be able to forgive her for the pain that she caused in my family and in my life. And I wanted the kids to understand that they could go something through so tragic, you know, and it wasn't just the murder, it was everything that led up to that. Her murder is still unsolved, so we still deal with that.
Where did this happen?
Up in Canada. And so I always want the kids to understand that they can go through these major traumas in their life and still be okay. And I ended the story with telling the kids, like, I'm happy, and I'm happy every day, and I'm following my passions. And having something tragic happen to you in your life is not an ending. It can be a springboard for something greater, if you allow it to be.
Sure. Well, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
For your self-care.
Thank
that
you.
That is an important thing
Yes.
for all of us. Does Ms. Hicks talk about self-care sometimes?
Yeah, every week for her motivational Mondays.
So, Nora, how do you self-care?
Well,
I'm putting you on the spot.
yeah. I always remind myself that at the end of the day, what I've done today is enough, and I can continue to do better for the next days to come.
That's very wise. That's very wise for a 10th grader. That makes you 15?
16.
16? Okay, wow. Wow, okay, so Motivational Mondays, I want to get back to that for a moment, because to me, a teacher who goes out of their way to make sure that you're not just teaching math, I'm sure you're teaching math
Yes.
good, but you go out of your way to make sure that you are taking care of the student as a whole.
Yes.
You know, so you told me about one story before we came on, and Nora writes about it, with Rick and Dick Hoyt. So that was
Yes.
one of your Motivational Monday
Yes.
stories. And for those who don't know, who are they?
Rick and Dick Hoyt are Ironman triathletes. It's a father and son team, and the son has cerebral palsy, but the father decided that he was going to raise his son just the same as any other son. There was a fundraiser going on to help a fellow student get a wheelchair. And so it all started with a 5K. And then it became wanting to do more races, and they became one of the most famous duos to do Ironman triathlons. I got involved in Ironman back in 2013, and so it was one of the first stories I came across as I was researching Ironman. And so a couple years later, when I started the Motivational Mondays, it was the story I started off with, because it showed the love and connection between parent and son, and how important it is that we help others achieve their goal. It takes a village. It always takes a village, and we need to support each other in each other's passions and goals, and not tear each other down.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
100%. Well, I so like what you're doing, and I think that one of your self-cares is probably doing the Ironman and taking care of your body, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, both my husband and I do it, and so we get to train together, and it's one of the main lifestyles that we live.
What do you have coming up?
I signed up this year for a triple Ironman.
Wow.
Yes, and should I complete it, because you never want to count your chickens before they're hatched. Should I complete it, I will be one of 25 women in the United States that will have completed a triple Ironman.
Wow. Well, what month is this?
In October.
October.
Yes.
Keep us updated on this.
I
I'm
will.
rooting for you.
Thank
and
you
I know
so much.
Nora is too. Sounds like a follow-up article to me.
Possibly.
So Nora, tell me, what does the future hold for you?
I'm not quite sure what the future holds for me, but things like writing articles, journalism in general is something that I've always really liked. So I might go down that path.
That's interesting. Are you thinking about writing or television, or you don't know?
I don't know.
There's so many opportunities out now for people your age, especially with Atlanta and, the film industry, or, you know, who knows, novels. You could be the next great American writer. We're going to keep an eye on you.
I know that no matter what Nora decides to do, that she's going to be great.
I have no doubt. Well, ladies, it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
We'll talk some more. And the rest of you, I'll be right back.
Thanks for watching the talk today. Shout out to the guest father Emmanuel, LoriLyn Hicks, and Nora Miranda, and thank you for watching. Find this episode and a number of past episodes on the Talk with Connie YouTube channel. While you're there, be sure to subscribe. I'm Aaron Scott, and wish you a peaceful, productive, and happy week.